evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the KTPF Community Show, live in the hub with Steve and Suzanne. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the KTPF Community Show, live in the hub, the online paranormal talk show brought to you by the Keeping the Paranormal Friendly community and in association with Spooky Radio. Established since 2007, the KTPF is a dedicated, ongoing community which is not just there for when you're experiencing animosity from others. We welcome every paranormal investigator and enthusiast alike, including hobbyists, scientists and psychic mediums from around the globe, to join in as we cover this vast, fascinating subject, encouraging you to share information, advice and most importantly friendship. Remember, collaboration, not competition. You're listening to the all-new KTPF show live on Spooky Radio, Keeping the Paranormal Friendly, where membership is just a smiling face. Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. My name's Suzanne.
And I'm Steve.
Steve's a bit poorly tonight, I'm afraid. He's found out he's got a chest infection, bless him.
Yeah, poor me.
So everyone say, ah. How are you all out there in
Back brother just recovered from one.
Oh God. So perhaps he's got an internet virus. You never know. Well, I hope you've had a good week, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, lover.
Love a bunch. Love a bunch of what?
I don't. That's a leading question, that one. Well, we got two guests for you today coming in via the phone lines. Who have we got, Susie?
Well, in a few moments we will be ringing up Southern Paranormal's Wendy Calloway, who just happened to join us when we was at Brancastle. And then later on in the show we've got Kerry from Bomber County Paranormal. So they'll be telling you all about what they've been up to, what they do and what they don't do, and everything, and we're just keeping it all friendly tonight. So if you've only just joined us, just want to let you know that although we do concentrate on the investigating side of the paranormal, we do try and cover a wide spectrum of this fascinating subject. Okay, and we try to involve you within our live and interactive chat room, with interviews from special guests within most areas of the field, to team members promoting their groups and sharing their own experiences. Remember, this is your show too, where you can get involved within the chat room or even on the phone. So if we have anyone in the actual hub, which sometimes we do have them live in the hub, you can give us a call and ask us questions. Next week, yes, we have actually. We've got Nicola and maybe Sarah coming in all the way from Wigan Paranormal. They'll be popping in and spending the evening with us. So there's somebody you can ring up and ask questions to. Okay.
And the following week we've got Steve Mera, and we're hoping to have a gentleman to come in and to tell us all about UFOs. Yes, hopefully. We're just waiting for him to come. That's John. Back to us. John Hanson, is it? Hanson or something. John Hanson from. I can't remember off the top of my head, but from Haunted Skies. Yes, he's been writing books about. Volume 5's coming out soon. Yes, he's been writing books about UFOs and that. Apparently, he's an ex-copper. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on the show. It's just a prelude to our weird weekend that we're going to in August, where we will be interviewing a few people from all walks of life down there in Devon. So I'm sure we'll be telling you about that later on in the next few weeks when we tell you about the paranormal events for that month. Please excuse Steve's coughing, bless him, he's suffering here. Yeah, I'll try and die a bit quieter. I don't know. So don't forget, if you want to be on the show, just email us and
we will be there for you. All you need to do is just email us and tell us what you'd like to talk about, and then we can have you on the show, whether it be by phone or live in the hub, because we are based in Manchester, not far from the city ground, and you can come in and join us for the evening and be a co-host maybe. So there is that. And remember, if you have got a special event coming up within the next week, just email us as well at admin@ktpf.co.uk, and we will include it in our show and let everybody know what you're doing to raise money, or just some special event that's pertaining to the paranormal. Talking about the KTPF, the paranormal community is still there if you'd like to go and have a look, and there's lots of topics for you to join in through there as well, covering a vast range of the paranormal. And if you are a group member, you can also, a founder or events manager can become an affiliated member and be allowed into the affiliated member section. Good evening, Ian. I hope you're all right.
Yeah. And Sue
65.
Yeah.
Bagpuss is in.
And somebody called Dippook.
Oh, I hate to think. If you're listening, please, if you want, you can right click on the name and become somebody completely different.
Movie Cakes. Hi, Movie Cakes.
Esmo, apparently. Esmo's here. So we've got quite a few people in, and as I say, we've got a couple of guests coming up. We've also got Ian Lawrence, who's there on the chat room. And oh, you have a cold too. Steve's got a chest infection, Ian. So hopefully Ian will be popping over sometime and being a guest on our show. Seeing as you just missed it, Ian, we've got Southern Paranormal's Wendy Calloway and Kerry Cox from Bomber County Paranormal later on in the show. So it's group night tonight.
Yep.
Okay, talking about groups, we are actually from UK Shadow Seekers, based here in Northwest, and we've been going since 2007, haven't we, babe?
Yes, we are.
About the same amount of time as our Keeping the Paranormal Friendly website, which we started up back then as well. And
well, we were getting a little bit of stick, so we thought, sod it.
Yep, put all our intentions into
you
that.
Did.
Well, I did, yeah.
Yes.
Instead
Credit where it's due.
Yeah, instead of retaliating, I decided to build a website called Keeping the Paranormal Friendly, and threw all my energies into that and my anger and everything else, and created, oh my god, a monster. So, and here we are, thanks to dear old Paul Reed. Now we've got a KTPF show, so which we'll always be entirely grateful, and his memory will always live on. So let's go on with the show anyway. So what do you think to the KTPF?
Hi, I'm Chris Andrews from Phase 2 Paranormal in Stockport, and I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly, where membership is a smiling face.
Yeah, membership is definitely just a smiling face, and that was Chris Andrews, as he said, from Phase 2. He's been on the show, and as along with many others, and hopefully we'll get them all to give us a little bit of a soundbite somewhere along the line, or even send one in. Okay, so onward tonight. As I said, we have got two special guests on the phone, so I'll be ringing them soon. Firstly, we'll be ringing Wendy up and talking to her. Later on, we'll have the rundown from the paranormaleventsforyou.com, which is the sister site to the KTPF, Keeping the Paranormal Friendly, which is also a free site for you to advertise your events, but more about that later. Okay, so Steve's been on the paranormal news hunt, haven't you, Steve?
I found a few little bits. I left it a bit late this week, but yep.
Yes, we are a little bit low on the ground this week because we've been very, very busy and ill. Unfortunately. Why is it when you're ill you're always busy? I think Ian knows about that as well. He's been ill of late, and he's been busy doing what he's been doing with the Battlefield Paranormal, which he's doing a bloody good job of.
He's been fighting the farmers.
Yes, he has. So just excuse me while I have a quick drink. You could have spoke then.
I was having a drink.
He was drinking as well.
I'm drinking as well.
You need amaxilium. What did the doctor actually give you, Steve?
I don't know yet. I've got some steroids and
something or other.
Probably some amoxicillin.
Yeah, and I've been put on pain patches. I've never had them before. Right.
Everybody thinks he's trying to give up smoking.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Steam.
Steam.
I'll get me pills tomorrow.
God, it's so warm in here. I don't believe it. What do you think to the weather? It's brilliant, isn't it? But it's warm indoors. So, well, I hope you've had a very spookily weekend, or week, I should say. And if you're not in a paranormal group and you haven't been on a paranormal investigation of late, I hope you haven't had a spooky weekend, because nobody wants to take it home with them, do they? You have been twice. I take it that's on a... Is that steam pills, Ian, or is that on a spooky weekend? So...
Well, we got 2 house investigations.
Brilliant, just like Romania. Do we know this Esmo, by any chance? Has Esmo been to Romania? Or is Esmo waiting for me to give her a call any second now? Of course you do. Crafty. Right, well, okay, I'm going to ring up a certain young lady by the name of Wendy Calloway, if I can read my own writing. I think that's 549. See what happens. It's a bit like when they used to ring up, isn't it, on the phone and say, right, we're going to ring this number, and if you answer the phone, you've got to say, I'm keeping the paranormal friendly. Okay, we'll see whether they're listening, shall we? Right.
It looks like you're a few books short for your phone. I'll get them for you.
Yeah, we have to have a bookstall, you see, so that we can hold the phone up to the mic, so everyone can hear what's being said.
That should be a nice house. 100 recipes cookbook.
Let's have a look.
But do you need another one?
I'll need another one. I'll need another one. Hold on, I need to put Wendy on stilts when I ring her.
A bit of Wilbur Smith, how's that?
Bit of Wilbur Smith. Oh, now she's drunk.
You can always change them around.
Yeah, that sounds a bit right for me. Right, okay. Can you still hear me okay, ladies and gentlemen? Because I do have to turn the mic around. Let's see if I can ring this number again. Right, now don't forget, if you are ringing up at all, which you can't at the moment when people are on the phone because we have call waiting, it wouldn't be nice. Or if I'm about to phone you, my first words, or your first words out of your mouth should be, I'm keeping the paranormal friendly. We'll just see who's actually listening, shall we? Right, the phone is about to ring.
Yeah.
And it's going to go straight live.
Who's Paul again?
Hang up. It's ringing. Paul used to run. Was ringing. Steph, what do you win? Nothing.
Hello?
Hi, is that Wendy?
It is, yeah.
Hiya. She wasn't listening, so Esmo's not. Not you, is it?
Into the station. Pick my husband up.
Yeah. Paul
Right.
was a good friend of ours who sadly passed away recently.
Yeah, so that's who Paul was. Somebody was just asking who Paul was.
Okay.
Between us, we're trying to keep what he wanted to do going. First of all, mainly he was about full paranormal, and of course he was big on keeping the paranormal friendly, getting everybody work together. Evening, Steph.
Yes, he actually supported keeping the paranormal friendly. Well, we've got Wendy on the phone, so let's not keep her waiting. How are you, Wendy?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Have you got over Romania yet?
Just about.
Just
It
about.
was a fantastic weekend.
Yes, it was. And a pity you're not joining us back again.
I know, but I'm going to be in Nepal.
Oh, right. I see.
So.
Off to
Maybe
Nepal.
they're following you.
Right, okay, so...
I think we can let her off for that one, don't
yeah,
you?
I suppose so. Right, okay, so you're part of a group called Southern Paranormal?
Correct, yeah.
And what role do you play?
What role do I play? Well, I help organise new experiments.
Right.
And then quite often I team lead when we do investigations.
Right, okay. And do you allow the public on, or are you a private one?
We're a private team.
Private team.
We're also, I think, the only team in the UK that has a dog as part of their team.
Oh, I'd love to have my dog. I've got Scrappy Doo here.
We have a husky who joins us on investigations sometimes.
Oh, bless! I'd love to take my little Roxy onto investigation, but it won't work.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. It adds a new element to the
No, our little Roxy will be jumping in everybody's lap.
Oh, bless! So techno dog.
Techno dog.
I don't know whether you're actually seeing the chat room at all.
No,
you're not, right. So sometimes they might ask questions, and
okay,
I'll be relaying them to you. So how does this dog fit into your group then?
One of our team has actually reared huskies and is part of a husky club, and he suggested that we come along on the team and see how we get on. Yeah. And so his dog has been coming along to a few investigations with us.
The dog's called Star.
He's all well equipped, he's got proper little shoes and everything so he doesn't get hurt, and fully insured. So
is the dog called Star by any chance?
Yes.
Right, okay, because we've got somebody on the chat room and they've called themselves Lover Bunch. They haven't really changed their name. But I don't know who that was. It says the dog is called Star and is a star. So do you know who that might be?
He's probably one of our team.
So yeah. So I take it you told him you're going to be on the show tonight.
I have.
Right. Okay. So that's good. At least we get a few more listeners.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us your name, Steph said. Right. If you didn't catch my caller's name, it's Wendy Calloway from Southern Paranormal. Way down there. Whereabouts are you based?
Mainly Southampton, Bournemouth area.
That's where Steph comes from, Southampton. Originally, he's now up in Glasgow at the moment.
Okay.
You don't do it private. You don't do it for the public. You do it for yourself.
Yeah, just for ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, Love a Bunch. If you right click on your name, and you'd be able to change it.
Right, he's just telling them to change it.
I don't know, says Steffi.
So anyway, right. So where have you been of late that you feel is quite spooky?
We went down to Jamaica Inn in Cornwall.
Oh yeah.
And we actually stayed overnight down there, so we hired out all the rooms.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was amazing.
Was it expensive?
I don't think it was too bad overall, no.
No, oh, that's not bad. So what did you do? Hire a room like each? Is that what you did? You each hired the room?
So we had 6 rooms and there was 2 of us in each room.
Oh right, that's not bad then.
No, and it was a really, really good investigation actually.
Was it? I've popped in there on my way back from Cornwall, but I've never actually done anything there.
Yeah, worth a visit. We also went over to Ireland end of last year and investigated Leek Castle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to email me the prices. I'd love to go there. I'd love to go to Ireland. I keep saying, we had a guy come on to us asking us about Tettenhall Towers recently. And he was from Ireland, and when I asked him, he said, "Oh, they don't like it much over here."
Oh, I think we had a contact over there. We were quite lucky to get in.
Yeah.
But it is a really, really lovely venue over there as well.
Oh, any chance you can find out for me?
You're in touch with Julie from our group anyway.
Right, okie dokie. So,
yeah.
How long have you been doing it for, Wendy?
This will be my 3rd year now.
3rd year.
I think Southern Paranormal's been running about 7 years, so.
Yeah. And was you doing anything before then?
No, I just used to watch it on telly and things, and then had some various experiences personally myself. And my husband said, "Why don't you just go and do it?"
Yeah.
So I thought, why not go and do it and see how I get on? And 3 years later, I'm still doing it.
So you really do enjoy it then?
Hooked now.
You do enjoy it then?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love it.
So, and had your mum and your sister been on one before?
They'd never been on one before, no.
Until they went to Romania?
Hasn't actually. She'd always wanted to do one, so it was her birthday present from me.
Right, okay. Couldn't you have taken her on one of yours? It would have been cheaper. But she enjoyed it, didn't she? She's still got a certificate.
They had a brilliant weekend.
Yeah? And they still got the certificate?
They really enjoyed it.
Yeah? So, well, we give everyone a certificate, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you seen yourself on the news?
Yes, I saw that.
What did you think?
Wow, it was interesting. It would have been better if we could understand what they were saying in return.
Yes. We actually found the English version, which wasn't too bad.
Oh, okay.
But it still had the blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But then it had Steve talking in English, so that wasn't too bad. But yeah, it was alright.
It was a really good night.
Yeah. I'm not sure about Dracula coming forward, though.
No.
Not at the beginning. But at the end, it was quite good.
The workers from who worked in the building at some point in time, so...
Yeah. But that seemed to be a bit of a coincidence when I was writing the report out that when you was up in the old gunpowder room...
Yeah.
And you were picking up on the little girl, wasn't it? Or, no, the little boy.
Yeah.
No, we had the little boy.
Yeah.
The little boy. Yeah,
the little boy. And the little boy was saying that he had a sister.
Mm-hmm.
And the other two were in the other room.
Yeah.
And they were picking up on a sister who said they had a brother.
Yeah.
And there was no way you could hear each other because they were the other side, sort of thing. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah, it was a really interesting location.
Yeah.
What I like as well is, like, you don't always get everything, I'm there to try and see if there is anything, but if there's not, that's fine. But just the venues you get to go to are amazing, and just being able to go into some of these buildings without the public there.
This is it, yeah, this is it. So
I saw the pictures of Bron Castle the next day.
Yeah.
There were some pictures taken where the crowds trying to get in.
Yeah.
Oh, we were there on our own.
Oh, I don't know, it was quite funny. But that finale with Matty dressed up as Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was hilarious, wasn't it? Have you seen it on YouTube?
No.
Oh, you want to have a look? We're still laughing about it. If you go on the UK Shadow Seekers YouTube,
have a look.
Yeah, have a look on there, and it's the one where Eric's filmed it and where he's been running, and then his camera dropped. It was quite
when he ran into the door.
Yeah, where he left his face there. So, but yeah, there's a bit of swearing on there, so be careful.
Okay.
There is actually a clip also from the tunnel when they were down there, and Gary's picked up a sort of mist, yeah?
Yeah.
And there's also like a voice, sort of, woo, sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
But they don't know where it's come from.
No.
So, because nobody done it at the time. So, so yeah. So where else have you been that you feel as though it's quite interesting?
We've been down some of the forts in Portsmouth, Fort Widley. We've been to Fort Widley and done all the tunnels underneath.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's quite interesting as well, because it's just something different rather than just a building.
Right.
We've done some old theatres. They're always quite interesting.
Yeah, which theatres are them?
Theatres.
Pardon?
There seems to be a lot happening in theatres over the years. So.
Yeah. So how far up have you just stayed in your area, or have you come further north?
We do quite a lot in our area, but we have done others further up the country, depending on, how far people are willing to travel, and obviously the cost is an issue, so...
Yeah.
We tend to do a lot around our area, but
so,
we do further afield sometimes.
Is there any haunted places in Southampton that Steph might remember? Seeing he's in the chat room.
We've done any actually in Southampton. I can't think of any I've been to in Southampton, but we've done some of the surrounding theatres.
Yeah.
Steph said Netley Abbey.
Who?
Netley Abbey.
Netley Abbey?
Yeah, we've done Netley Abbey.
You've done that one?
Yeah.
So...
There's quite a lot of old investigations on our website.
Right, we'll have to have a
with
look.
all our reports and things from each venue as well.
Yeah, and what is your website?
It's southernparanormal.com.
Right, okay, and it's been going for 7 years?
Yeah.
And so what other experiments do you actually do?
Well, we have a guy on our team who's a scientist by sort of trade, and he's always thinking up new weird and wonderful ideas for us to try out and see what happens. So he comes up with, makes all these contraptions at home and brings them along with him, which is quite interesting as well.
Well, that's what the paranormal is about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have all the normal equipment, the K2s, we have camera setups and, all the normal sort of stuff everybody has, and then he'll come along and say, oh, I think we should try this, which is really interesting because, it's worth trying all these things.
Yeah, and do you have a medium?
No.
No. Right.
We do have a lady who comes very occasionally, who's part of our group, but she lives a bit far away, so she only comes very occasionally.
Mine is a bit sensitive.
But then again, you're a bit slightly sensitive, aren't you?
We've got a few people in our team who are sensitive, but they're not mediums.
Right, okay. So do you use the sensitive side of it as well?
I mean, we all tend to just go with how we feel on the night.
Yeah.
So sometimes people will pick things up that, you know, nobody else picks up, but they're very sensitive that night, and other nights, you know, people won't get anything, or, you know, we just go with the flow really and see what happens. We're not trying to, you know, we're very much for what's really there and what's really happening. We don't try and make things up that aren't there really.
I've been asked by our I'll get it right in a minute. Our technical investigator, Mr. Ian Lawrence, if you could describe something that he's actually made.
We made a heat-sensitive pad.
Pardon?
We made a heat-sensitive pad.
Heat-sensitive pad, yeah.
To try and see, and we set up cameras around it to try and see if we could get, you know, like where you put your hand on, like those T-shirts you used to get, where if you put your hand on, the colour would change colour.
Yeah.
We made a pad thing like that to see if we could get any reaction on that by putting trigger objects on there to see if we could get someone to pick them up.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean...
It wasn't Ian that asked that, it was Steve, actually.
Quite good at coming up with unusual ideas. I think because he works in a science lab all day, he'll suddenly go, oh, we could try this. Which is really interesting, because it's good to try different things.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
sounds good.
I'm going to pass you on to Steve, and he can put you near his mic so you can answer questions.
Okay.
Okay. How did it go with the thermo pad?
We haven't had anything come through on it yet, but you know, we'll keep trying. We obviously tested it first to make sure it would work with our body heat, so but it's just one of those things we thought we'd try and see how it went.
Yes. What else would you say that's worth having a go at?
Well, I don't know. I actually quite like doing investigations where we don't use equipment and we just sort of sometimes just go with how do we feel and, you know, what are we feeling actually in the room and things like that. Sometimes I feel that when you've got a lot of equipment in the room, you're concentrating so hard on what the equipment's doing that you're sort of losing a bit yourself of just sitting and relaxing and trying to, you know, enjoy the environment and see what happens naturally.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's you get so tied down into what you might be getting, you forget the rest of it.
Yeah, and you're watching different bits of equipment to see if anything happens, and you just sort of get. Sometimes I just want to sit quietly and just, you know, just see what happens. I did quite a lot of that up at Castle actually, just sit and see if you can sense anything and go from there. Obviously, equipment helps, especially when you've got cameras on it to try and pick things up, but I think sometimes we will get a bit bogged down with it, and it's nice to just, you know, sometimes we have investigations where we don't take equipment, or we'll take very minimal equipment and just try and, you know, see how the building feels to us without it being surrounded by all the cameras and things.
Yeah, yeah. Ian suggested using the heat pad near windows and doors.
Okay.
And he said maybe it's an idea to just on each investigation you do, you just put 2 people monitoring the tech stuff, and then you can let everybody else just sit and relax and see what comes. Yeah,
I mean, we do have, quite often we have cameras set up, you know, that are just running all the time, so quite a lot of equipment we do just leave and let it sort of go throughout the evening and see what happens later on when people watch the footage back.
Steve's got a terrible cold. Yes, it is. Very much so. He didn't need it for this. Excuse me a minute. You don't need it for this, only if it's Skyping. So anyway, so you do you do quite a bit of techie, or do you do other things as well? Because like Ian said, some people, you know, are not into the techie side of it, are they?
No. Well, some of our team are really into their techie side of things, and they're quite happy to do all the cameras, and they do all the reviewing of footage and things like that. So we quite often have cameras set up, but we have done quite a few venues where we'll just use handheld camcorders, or you know, no cameras at all. We have had done that a few times.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the venue, and it depends sometimes on the team, because even though we split up into smaller teams, sometimes one of the teams doesn't want to take any cameras or anything with them, and other teams will. So
yeah,
depends who's on which teams, and you know, if the guys are happy to sit and look through the footage, then I think, you know, people are happy for them to carry on and do that, really.
Well, this is it, you know.
Because it takes a long, you know, it takes a lot of time going back through all the footage and all the EVP stuff and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. So what have you got planned for the future now? Are you going to be doing more European stuff, or?
Well, me personally?
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't really have many plans, because I also belong to a choir, and we're very busy in the summer, so I tend to not do as many investigations in the summer, because I have a lot of choir, like rock choir shows coming up. So
yeah.
And then I just see what comes off and go with the flow.
Right, I see. But do the team in general have quite a few plans coming up? And
yeah, I mean, yeah, we've always got, you know, things on the go. So
yeah. So, well, as I say, you know, if you have any, if you decide to do any charities that you end up, I don't know, putting tickets out for, because some private groups, even though they don't allow to the public, sometimes they do charitable ones.
Okay.
You know, please feel free to advertise on Paranormal Events for You.
Okay.
And also join KTPF, the Keeping the Paranormal Friendly.
Okay, and I'm going to put you in touch with Julie anyway from our team, who runs our team.
That'll be great.
Okay.
All right then, my love. So, so your mum and your sister are fine. Are they going to go on any of yours as guests?
I'm not sure. I think they might do the odd one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be.
I've got a little bit hooked now, so.
Yeah. So, and as I say, if you can do that report for me for Bran.
Yeah, I've got it. I'll just email it across.
Yeah, that's no problem. Is it? That is why. Right. It's alright. It's just something he's just put on there. Nothing to do with it. It just said that's why. I only use 2 investigators now and run the investigations from outside the environment. It's just something Ian said, because he doesn't. He works on his own, and he invites a couple of investigators on to do. You know, it's not a public thing that he does either.
No.
So, but as I say, it's been nice talking to you again, Wendy.
Yeah, Angie.
Okay. Keep in touch.
Will do.
All right, and even if it's just an email or on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
Give my regards to your mum and your sister.
I will.
And best of luck in your adventures.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good night, Wendy.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, Wendy.
Well, that was Wendy. And nice chat, Wendy. Thank you. Good. Good evening, Eric. I caught your message earlier. Are you saying you're with us on the 2nd, my love? Good evening, Neil. Eve. Yep. That would be nice. As I say, you don't. If your back's hurting, you won't have to do any rigging. We'll make it as light as possible for you. Okay. Here's one for you. It says Steph. Smoke in a can. eBay, £5 a can. I beg your pardon. Any strange drafts? Spray a bit and you will see how fast.
Where it's coming from.
Where it's coming from and what direction.
Nice one. Nice idea, that one. Nice one, Steph.
Smoke in a can. eBay, £5 a can.
Yeah, you just spray it into the area.
What are you looking forward to getting into, Ian?
Up there for thinking, he says. He's been listening to you too much.
He has. Up there for thinking, down there for dancing. So, might have to give Ian a ring in a bit and see how he's doing with his paranormal battlefield thing.
There's a gauge that gives airspeed movement to the hub. So,
what's Neil writing? If you want to write it all out properly and send him it. Oh, that's a personal thing. That's for Sue. Right, okay.
Yeah,
so, good evening, Neil Munnelly. Neil Munnelly is going to be appearing at the Morecambe Winter Gardens on Friday. And hopefully we will be doing a small investigation afterwards. So, that should be good. Let's see who we've got on so far. We have JJ, Jeanette's on. And Sue Nally. Was that Sue Nally? Is that Sue 65 that's changed?
No, Sue Nally was Bagpuss.
Oh, Bagpuss. Right, okie dokie. So, And we have Arian, Mr. Ghost Hunter himself. And we have Eric, who's just come back from a back operation, so hopefully he's fit now.
Yes, he's been out sick.
And we have my son Steph, all the way from Lanarkshire Paranormal, up there in Glasgow, in Bonnie, Scotland. So, hiya Steph. Steph was asking me a question of late. Does anyone know anything about shadow creatures? I've heard of shadow people. It's not something that I've come across, to be honest with you. We've got Steve Mara in a couple of weeks, so I'll be putting that question to him. He'll be coming in live in the hub, as I said. We're going to have a quick break and go over to the paranormal news that we were talking about. And here we go. See you in a bit.
Lincolnshire Ghost Train. In May 2010, I was driving home between Curtin and Boston in Lincolnshire, UK, reports David. It was about midnight. I saw in front of me what I thought was an articulated lorry with no lights at the rear. As I got closer, I could see it was the back of a guard's railway van. I thought it was on a low loader, but there was no low loader. I pulled out to have a better look, and then I could see it was an old-fashioned steam train pulling several carriages. As we came towards the street lights, it disappeared. The road I was on had originally been a railway line, but was closed in the 1960s and made into a road in the 1990s. The toy train that spoke. One night after the kids went to sleep, Lee was downstairs cleaning up the family room. I was doing the regular toy pick-up, and there is one toy with a motorised train caboose, where if you tap the stack it starts to woo-woo and chug-chug sounds. Of course I'm trying to be quiet, so as not to make up the kids, but I actually bumped into the train and sure enough it went off. I thought to myself, damn thing went off, and proceeded to put a blanket over it to muffle the sound. Well, just at that moment I heard the train actually speak. I was totally freaked out. I couldn't believe it really caught me off guard. It said something to the effect of "Get off me." I know this sounds ridiculous, I agree. I figured that some joker had programmed into a built-in circuitry to go off once in a while, but why exactly at that time and never since? The red-eyed passenger. About 2 years ago I was on the metro train headed home from work. The train stopped at Hyattsville station and someone got on the train that instantly caught my eye. The first thing was he got on the train and stood at the door adjacent to me. Now this was weird, because there was only 2 people on the train car, so there were seats everywhere. Why would he come and stand right in front of me? He was about 6 foot tall, even caramel complexion. He looked like he could have been in his mid-20s. But the scariest thing was the disfiguring scars all over his face. It looked like someone had sliced his face up with a knife or a razor or something, and I was trying with everything in me not to look at him. But I had a feeling he was watching me, and every time I took a quick glance, there he was staring at me. Then it happened. So fast I've barely caught it, but it was slow enough that I did catch it. The man blinked his eyes really hard, and when they opened, he had these red glowing eyes. Then he blinked again, and his eyes were back to normal. Then this was like he knew I was scared, or he knew I saw something, because he just smiled at me with this devilish wide grin. We were approaching the next station at this point, and he got off at the very next stop. I was so freaked out, because when he got off the train he didn't walk away or do anything. He turned back in the direction of the train door, still smiling, letting the train doors close between us. As the train pulled off, he was still standing in the same spot, grinning. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I sound crazy just repeating it, but it's true.
Hi, I'm Neil Munnelly, and I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly.
Well, there were some nice stories there. So what did you think to them? So, which brings me to my next question, or next thought. there's too many stories out there of paranormal activity for it not to be true, really. I've always thought that. You know, you get these people that think they're crackpots and stuff like that. Steve's gone to have nightmares. But when you read about all these stories, there's just too many of them to say that it's not true. It's the same with UFOs. You know, people say about this, that and the other, and you think to yourself, well, they're talking a load of old rubbish. But there's too many stories out there to say that it's not true. Do you want to?
Well, not so much in the UFOs, but on the other paranormal stuff. Why are we not getting direct evidence of it?
Well, this is it.
I say solid evidence for the likes of Ian to go through and say yes, that's definitely it.
This is the thing. This is the thing. Why can't we get the evidence? You know, it's really frustrating sometimes when you can feel it when you go to these locations. You can sometimes see it, you know, and it's not time yet, Neil. Why isn't it time yet?
It's not time for us to all see it.
I've always been believed that we're learning too quick. I don't know whether anybody else feels that way.
What do you mean? What do you mean by learning too quick?
I don't know. When like with the UFO business, you know, they keep trying to pull it back in and turn around and say, you know, no, you're not seeing a UFO. No, it's not true, and all this. It's as if we're learning too much too fast, and they're like trying to.
I think we're being drip fed that, to be honest.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we're slowly getting drip fed about the aliens and everything else. So when it actually happens, it won't be the big shock. You know what I mean? We'll go, see, we told you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just interesting, but frustrating at the same time. It has to be offered in this scientific state, or it can be pushed aside by a blinkered society. Yeah, I think you're right there, Ian. It can get a bit frustrating. You know, you go out on these investigations, and the annoying bit is you see other groups and they've advertised this happens, that happens, and God knows what else, and 9 times out of 10 you go there and it's a quiet night, and you know, so. But I just, some of the places I've been to and the others have been to, and they say all hell's broke loose. I wonder what the hell they're watching. I really do.
Well, if you remember at Hyde when Paul worked there, we actually pulled him up when we see him in Asda, didn't we? And he said, "Well, he said, what's going on at your place?" We're seeing people saying that they're getting poltergeist activity and things being thrown, and Paul was with them with all these groups every time they went out, and it's like, it's news to me.
Yeah.
So a lot of groups are actually making it sound better than it is.
Yeah.
Which is a shame for Hyde in particular. Hyde was a good place.
Yeah, it was.
But without all the hype.
You know, to prove is to make factual. They won't all allow new factual situations to be added to non-factual equations. So.
Yeah, he's talking about the UFO side of it.
I agree with Neil though. More children are beginning to become more sensitive.
Yes, this is true evolution, and it makes you wonder how many of today's gadgets and scientific breakthroughs are actually from other worlds.
Well, this is it.
Well, maybe some crash that's done, and we've back engineered to find this stuff out.
Yeah.
Or whether they've just said, yeah, I'll play with that.
And like we said to Steve Mera, our Ashley thinks that it could just quite be possible that aliens are feeding this information to us, which he did say could be a possibility. You know, my husband's dying in the corner.
I do apologise for all that coffee.
But you know, it's.
I'll kill it tomorrow.
I just don't understand why, you know, you go to these places. All right, I must admit, as with most groups, they're going there to disprove or prove that what's being said, as we say, these are alleged hauntings. So, you know, so we have to go there and see whether it is or isn't happening. But then at the same time, you have to go back and get variations of the event. You know, we are learning too fast in conjunction with natural evolution. Well, yeah, that's what I meant, which is what I was trying to say, to be honest with you, Ian. We have been given information, we don't have the ability to comprehend it. Yeah, that's true. But sometimes I just feel as though we may be learning a little bit too much too quick on our own volition, so to speak. And then I've got somebody in the background, so, you know, the government or whatever, saying, "Oh no, you know."
Yeah,
you know,
done it so.
What makes us a little sad?
It makes us sound a little sad that we've been offered everything and we just can't work it out.
Yeah, this is it. So, but maybe one day, as I say, we're always looking for some sort of result. Everyone's looking for the same thing. Here's one for you, says Steph. 2 wells running side by side. The one we are in and the spirit one. Try using a high-speed camera instead. There is nothing to say they are running at the same speed. That's one of them stealth cameras, isn't it, Steph?
No.
What cameras?
No, that's not high speed.
Is it not?
No.
See, I'm not technical.
No, most high speed cameras use film. Really high speed, because they can. A stealth camera is just something, if you walk across the beam, so to speak, it sets off.
Right. Yeah. So, well, interesting anyway. So maybe we'll find something sooner or later. There's so many pictures out there and stuff, but I don't know. I think I need to be there to see it happen on some of them. I don't know what you think, guys. Everyone's got their own personal opinion. Yeah. If they've seen it done, and you know, they can have their own proof that it's been done. But if you was to see a picture of something, would you think, oh, that's good, or would you have you know, would you think to yourself, well, you don't know. I don't believe we're the only ones, so we can't be the only people here on this earth. You know, there must be somewhere else out there, even if it's a parallel world sort of thing. So there's got to be something out there. So unless it's backed up.
I mean, I've read somewhere that
this is it, Ian.
That possibly 30 to 40% of the people on this earth are not actually human.
Well, there's a concept.
They're from other worlds, just like Ash.
Are we going into the Men in Black theory? Funny you should say that.
It could be. I mean, there is a phenomenon called for Men in Black as well.
Well, we'll find out more, because we're going to start this bitch course, as everyone's been calling it.
No.
The BITC, the British Investigators Training Course by Steve Mera at Mappit.
Yeah,
so,
we've been having a few people taking the mick.
Yes, and they've been calling the bitch. I think I've been dropping the H there. So I said, my missus says I'm from another world all the time. I don't know. So, but
you've been soft at last, have you, Steph?
Oh dear.
Only problem is, where does that mean your mother's come from?
Hey, yeah, thank you very much. Be careful there, Jan.
Yeah. We love him anyway, don't we, Jan?
Oh yeah. So, but
ooh, not nice, Sue.
What's that?
She's half a dunk biscuit dropped on her laptop.
Oh no. So, but Ian says, I've read up on an advanced theory. The theories put in place are on the edge of comprehension, but I think what we are and what we are looking for is beyond our comprehension.
At the moment, maybe, yeah.
So,
hi, Cat.
Good evening, Cat. Meow.
Oh, kitty cat.
So, yeah, that's our Eric Cat. Our team ghost, yeah. Or one of them. So, we can only comprehend that of which we have experience of. Yes. Yes, I agree with that.
That would be me dying, Cat.
He's got a chest infection, Cat. So Ian's coming back with a few bits and pieces. What we are looking for is beyond our experience. Yeah, what do you think to that then, Neil? So
yeah, it can also be what we're prepared to take in. So, sometimes things are so far-fetched and so out there that we just say no without actually stopping and thinking about it.
This is it. So, but how are we doing? We've got a few minutes, and I tell you what, I know a few numbers on there, so I might surprise somebody with a phone call.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are you ready, guys?
And if you, as I said before, when I phone, you've got to say your name. Yeah. So it'd be, I'm Suzanne, and I'm keeping the paranormal friendly.
Yeah.
Or I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly. So are you ready? The phone is going to ring. If you don't answer, then... But I'm not called Suzanne. Whatever you're called. Alright? So whoever it is, tell us your name, and you've got to say that you're proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly. Are you ready? Phone is about to ring.
Who we got? Who we got?
Is it going to answer?
No, because they're on the laptop.
I'm Eric Jones, and I'm keeping the paranormal friendly.
Yes! Hi, you Eric, how are you?
Hello.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
Yeah? How are you feeling after your op?
Well, because I had a feeling it's going to be me.
Why?
Eh?
Why?
So you said it, it just come through, and I thought, I'll take this one.
How are you?
Alright, same thanks.
Good, good, good.
Run downstairs and get the phone, because I was waiting on my mobile.
I don't know. Well, it's cheaper for me to ring a landline, you see.
Eh?
It is cheaper for me to ring a landline.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay, so you're actually into UFOs, aren't you, Eric?
Oh yeah, I'm into everything, mate.
Well,
paranormal wise.
Okay, 2 weeks' time would be good for him.
Yes, 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, we got...
Well, we have Steve
next week, Steve Mayer the following week.
Oh yes, we've got Steve Mayer in a couple of weeks.
And
so
hopefully John.
And hopefully that guy from Haunted Skies, so he'll be worth listening to. If you're not back at work.
Cat said, how's your back, Eric?
Yeah, it's okay, it's coming on, thank you very much.
Good, good, good. So it's nice to have you back home.
Thank you.
And it's been nice having you on the group. Seems that you have trouble getting there because of work.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing you again.
I've made up for it in the last few months, I think.
Oh, I think you have. Yes, I think you have. So, but yeah. So, but you've had a few experiences, haven't you, paranormal wise?
Oh yeah, dead right, yeah.
So.
A hell of a lot, actually.
Have you? Do you want to tell us one while you're on?
Well, I think the main one is when I was in one of my houses, I seen a spirit over the banister, a black shadow. But it used to be a funeral parlour anyhow. It used to belong to a funeral parlour, so when it's converted to an house. But I think the best one is when I seen my brother's mother-in-law about a year and a half after she died at the house where she used to live. And she was in the window. We'd all gone out. I was sat in the car, and my brother was in front of me with the car. The house was empty, and I looked up at this window, and his mother-in-law over there putting 3 towels away.
Yeah.
The Christie towels as well, so those are good ones. And she was just looking at me. And I thought, bloody hell, but she died a year and a half ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was putting them in, was our Steve had moved into the house by then, and he converted this area. It was fitted wardrobes in the bedroom, but she used to have her, what they call them, an airing cupboard there. So she was actually in her time, putting her towels in her airing cupboard. So she looked at it, so I don't, she must have just come to let me know that she was there, because I know my nephew was talking to her.
Yeah.
She was visiting after she'd gone, and things like that. So all I can gather is that she'd probably come and said, you know, just to let me know that she's there and that things are all right.
Yeah. So, Kat said, would you like to talk about your experience in Bran?
It was brilliant, really brilliant. I can't fault it. Everything about the experience about going to Bran, absolutely everything was brilliant. It was brilliant. You're
going back next year, didn't you?
If she watches it on YouTube, definitely going back next year. And if she watches it on YouTube, she'll see it. It was we had a lot of laughs. We never stopped laughing from the minute we got into minibus to the time we got off the minibus.
Kat said, no, not that experience. That experience she wants to know about, the scary one.
Oh, where he ran after me. That, because I knew it was a joke, but I seemed to feel I had to do that. This is what I was honestly trying to get away from him. And I'm serious there. People don't believe me. I was trying to get away from it. Of course, I bashed into the first door. That was locked. Second door, bounced off that. My battery come out to my camcorder. I was searching for my battery. I then went into a corner, moved up, and Simon come along. He says, "What are you doing there?" I says, "The bastard won't get me here, will he?" It's that dark and everything. Honest, I just felt I had to do that. It was, and Simon was just laughing over me.
Oh, it was funny. It really was.
I'll tell you something. I had a bad back, but did I bleeding wrong? You know what you can do when bloody what's it's happened. Danger's there, doesn't it?
Oh, I know, but
I'll live for Christy's got nothing in you, mate.
Oh, it was great though. And you're going back next year to peel your face off the door, aren't you?
I've got to bring enough cement to fill the hole in for the imprints off my nose.
I don't know. Yeah, but hold on, Ian, this wasn't a ghost. This wasn't a ghost he was running away from.
No, it wasn't. You weren't it?
This was Matty, the guide, dressed up in this replica suit of flag tepis. It was really funny. You should see it on YouTube. I tell you, it was really funny indeed.
Well, when he first come out,
at one time with Eric's camera, all you see is floor ceiling.
Vlad. I said, "Oh yeah, look at him. That's right. Okay." And he come right up to me, camera, and I just went like, "Haha, good. Now that's one and all this stuff." Just looking, and he'd come out with all this language type of thing and stuff like that. But it was very funny. He was very good. He
is very good. So hopefully he'll do it again next year for our visitors.
Yeah, Alex was fantastic. There's nothing, everything about it. The hotel where we went, you felt comfortable all the time.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant. We had a brilliant laugh, some good meals.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. So right. So well, Eric, you carry on convalescing.
Thank you.
All right, and let us know for definite about next Saturday, and we'll sort out about what time we're going to pick you up.
Yeah, I'm definitely on for that, yeah. Definitely.
All right then, darling. Well, you take care.
and thanks for phoning me.
No problem.
Paranormal friendly, proudly so.
What's your name again?
My name is Kerry.
And what are you doing?
Remember.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later, mate.
Yeah, that was Eric.
Yes, Neil. Me and you did chase one through Drakelow tunnels, and also he can show us the sign of a swastika in one of the rooms.
Right, what I'm going to do, Ian, I'm going to ring up our next guest, and then I'll let you ring me, and then you can tell us about the battlefield and what's happening, okay? Is that okay? So we'll do it that way, yeah?
Yay!
Yes, Ian, yes, Ian, and remember to breathe. Is that okay? Right, okay, so I'm going to ring our next guest up. Our next guest is Kerry Cox, C-O-X, from Bomber County Paranormal, and I'm just going to ring her number here.
And while you're doing that quickly, I'll just say that when we was at Drakelow, Neil called our nephew over, Paul, and he said to him, "When I tell you, shine your torch on that doorway." And when he did, there was a man standing there. Yeah, that was Paul's first ghost.
I'm just about to put your line on the air, okay? Right, good evening, Kerry. Hi, this is Kerry. She's from Bomber County Paranormal. Right, okay. Whereabouts is this based?
She's not coming in through the system, babe.
Right, can you say that again where you are? I forgot to turn the mic back on.
We're in Lincolnshire in the UK.
And that's Bomber County Paranormal, just for those that missed it. But you were part of another group, weren't you?
Yeah, we're still using our local name. We've got a local group name.
Yeah.
That's Louth Paranormal Research Team. Louth is a small town in Lincolnshire, and the reason we've using the two names is because we research the paranormal in our local area, but then we sort of widen the net so we can take the public on our national events.
Right.
And Bomber County Paranormal, you know, it sort of describes that we're from Lincolnshire. I think that's what you think of, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you say that?
It's called It's basically called Bomber County or something.
It is. It's known as Bomber County. That's right, because of all the airfields.
Right.
Here that we're here in World War II.
Right. I see. And how long have you been going, Kerry?
We started in October. It was early October 2011. Several of us were in another local group, but they were heading a little bit too far into the sort of spiritual, wicker side for us, to be honest. And a lot of us felt that we wanted something slightly more scientific going on. You know, we wanted to research and investigate a lot more than we were doing. So we did actually end up forming our own team. Right.
That's basically about the way everyone goes, isn't it, really?
Right, yeah. You know, you tend to find that people just develop. You know, I sort of outstayed my welcome, really. I developed. Yeah. But the others had sort of developed as well. And you get tired of doing the same locations, I think, after a while as well. You know, we just felt that we wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, just approach it from a different side. Yeah. And that the group that we were in weren't willing to sort of allow that, if you know what I mean. It was sort of like, you know, it was laid down to us that wasn't really what they wanted to pursue. They didn't want to pursue the scientific side, maybe because some of their evidence would have been called into question, I don't know. But we just made the decision to leave, and 5 of us went across and started our own team.
Right. And even though you are a paranormal group and invite the public, you are a not-for-profit group still, yes?
Yeah, we don't intentionally make a profit. Inevitably, sometimes you do make a profit. Yeah. And what we try and do is pass that on at the next event. Sometimes we'll put on a small buffet, something like that, you know, something so it's absorbed back in. We don't spend it on equipment or anything like that. I've already bought all the equipment and everything, so it's just a case of now, if it's broken, the equipment, by a member of the public, would either claim on my insurance, or I would be looking to replace that maybe with a fundraiser. Right. The initial setup, we did that ourselves. You know, the 5 original members did that ourselves.
Right. that's good then, because everyone chips in. That's basically how we started.
Yeah.
Right, we've got a question for you. What sort of places have you been to, and have you done the Lincolnshire Asylum?
Which Lincolnshire Asylum? There are several. Which one in particular?
Right, okay. Is it Lincolnshire? She just put Lincolnshire. Do you know which one you're on about, Kat?
Maybe. I mean, they may be on about the Lawn Asylum at Lincoln. There are several, but there was one particularly well-known one. That's the Lawn.
There's one that's £1,000 for the night or something.
Yeah. Yes, the Lawn. Yes, the Lawn.
Would that be the Lawn?
It's expensive. I mean, it could cost you £1,000 for the night if you have the right amount of hours. Yeah, it can cost around 700. So it's be the right one. That's the only one I can think of. That is a very popular one, the Lawn at Lincoln. And we have investigated that. We investigated that, I believe, just before Christmas.
Right. Okay. You said there were a few around that area?
There are. A lot of them are closed. There was St John's Asylum, that was also at Lincoln.
Yeah.
There's Caister Asylum. There's several asylums in Lincolnshire. They're all obviously shut. The Lawn is obviously the only one that we've been able to get. It was until recently available publicly for any paranormal group to book.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's being sold. The council own it.
Right.
And they actually are selling it. And so we don't know whether the new owner would be interested in carrying on those.
See, our Kat's one of our group, and she's longing to do an asylum. She wants to know whether you feel that you have got more scientifically than from a spiritual perspective.
Yeah, I think we have actually. I mean, we're still coming up with evidence that we can't explain. There's a number of things where we've come back, we've reviewed our video evidence, and we can't explain some of the things.
No.
The light phenomena, things like that. That it's not so much. We don't really worry about EVP and things like that.
No.
There are things on camera, especially light phenomena, that we can't explain. And maybe won't. Certain things, that do occur, certain interferences that occur. We are not able to explain them yet. But again, some of the buildings, some of the properties we don't get a chance to go back again and really, in order to make it scientific enough, go back several times at different times, and try and work out what it was. And you're not always, especially with the cost of them as well, that isn't always the case. It isn't always possible.
No, this is it. And with the prices that they're throwing at you now and again, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's got very, very expensive to do it. And luckily we do get lots of private cases.
Yeah.
But because we run with the guidelines of the ASSAP, it means that we tend to do our private investigations to the sort of standard that they like, and that doesn't always warrant actually going in. We tend to do a private investigation without going in, if you see what I mean. We can do it all.
Yeah.
With diaries and that kind of thing, and rather self-assessment, sort of a self-investigation by the client. So we have that as well. We do quite a lot of private investigations, and many, as I say, we don't even have to enter the property to do it.
Yeah. So this is it. You do need to do it more than once, don't you? Really, some people don't realise this. They seem to think once you've done it once, if it's crap that night, you can't really bother going back.
That's it. I mean, what it is, a lot of this is the TV programme idea that you get 24 hours. You take your medium.
Yeah.
Medium can basically give you the entire history of the venue and all the ghosts and all the problems and everything else in a couple of hours. And it's just a way of looking at it, because it's all the way we've been duped, I suppose, because of the TV.
Yeah.
Although that's great for entertainment, when you do go and seriously research somewhere, especially from a scientific point of view, it's much more difficult to investigate, especially when that's on people's minds that maybe it should be investigated that way. They almost think that that's a standard that was set because it's a TV thing.
Yes.
And obviously you can't investigate like that.
No.
Wouldn't be 24 hours. You'd maybe need 5, 10. I mean, you need to keep doing the investigations until you worked out what your phenomena you may or may not have caught.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been reported and you don't actually get the phenomena when you go, but it's reported again maybe when you're gone. So you need to keep going back. And with the cost of venues, if you're hiring, it could be £5,000, £10,000 before you got all your research done.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
it's all money, isn't it?
Yeah, gone are the days where you went past a building that they're interested and you said to them, could we spend the night? And they were fine. It's not like that anymore.
No, this is it. And how do you feel, we've just been talking about places that are advertised by others.
Yeah.
That, like, we used to do Hyde Town Hall, and we used to see other groups. Oh, it's got poltergeist activity, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you go there, you get nothing, and you go there again, and you hardly get anything. Yeah. Do you feel frustrated in that respect, or do you just feel?
No, we feel a little bit cheated.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this. A lot of us have been doing this for a lot of years. We do realise, even with the reports, that there's a lot going on, really. I mean, we don't expect that amount of activity to go on. When they say there's this that's happening, podcast activity, there's shadow people, they tend to tick every box that you would expect to be ticked if you were watching a programme.
Yeah.
So you go down there with all these expectations, and you don't even get a tap the entire night. You're there for 7 hours, you don't get a tap. You review hours of footage, there's nothing, and you could maybe do it again. There's locations like that in Lincolnshire, the most haunted locations in the area. We've maybe done those 3 or 4 times. Luckily, they're not particularly expensive.
No.
You feel a little bit cheated because a lot of other groups are saying, oh, we got this, and we got this, and we got this, and we don't really understand how.
Yeah.
Getting it. We're really quite... I mean, we're not saying that we don't get anything, but
no.
Yeah, it's explainable, generally. And we don't get it, the next time we go, we don't get the same thing, maybe, probably because the time of year is different, different reasons.
Well, this is it. Now, I don't know if you've been on our website, Keeping the Paranormal Friendly.
Yeah.
But you do advertise some of your events on the paranormaleventsforyou.com.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Now, this is something that's been going on for years, isn't it? This backstabbing and...
It's very competitive. The paranormal scene's really highly competitive.
Oh, yeah.
And frankly, I think that's where this problem with a lot of groups claiming activity, I think that's where it's all coming from.
Yeah.
They are saying that they've had a lot of activity, and I guess in a way, when people go and do an event with a group like that are competitive with other groups, we're non-competitive. Frankly, we don't care whether or not a group's had, a table flying around the room, or, whether someone's got possessed in the group. We're not really interested in that, and it makes it less competitive, but it doesn't stop the other groups from being competitive with us. Let's just say when we find a new location.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things where they may even find out. You tend to have to keep it quiet until your first investigation there.
Yeah. Before
revealing it, because otherwise they may even ring and maybe come up with comments, to the owner or whatever, that would put them off you investigating it.
See, some people don't realise, do they? They sit back, they hear about the odd bits and pieces. Some people, they might get a little bit of, aggravation, but there's been some really serious stuff going on around here, isn't there, concerning this?
Yeah, it can be really serious, to the point where, even things in your personal life end up absolutely... I mean, one of the problems is Facebook, I think. A lot of the groups recruit on Facebook. We've definitely done it ourselves. We do recruit. We do our events. If we have a public event, we'll advertise it there.
Yeah.
And they'll maybe see that... and often... Even things from your personal life, they maybe would pick up on something that has happened, something they think's happened, something that hasn't happened at all, and then we'll maybe use that, and they would say something along the lines of, this group leader is rather dubious because they were in a group that I know them to have used to be, and that will, sort of spiral. Or maybe I do know of some groups. It's out Chesterfield way.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 groups out that way.
Yeah.
You make random comments about people that are in the other group. Maybe it would be, I heard that they used a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Started at an investigation. What do we feel? And then there's all this bandwagon jumping. The poor group that maybe isn't even on Facebook, or there's only a few members. Do you see what I mean? And it gets massively out of control, to the point that, I would say there's hateful remarks. Sometimes there's even threats.
Yeah, we've heard of police being involved, solicitors being involved, people going round houses, causing trouble.
Yeah, we've heard of all of that. Yeah.
Oh, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah. For God's sake, like I've always said, we're all in it for the same thing.
Yeah.
And people just don't realise the seriousness of some of this backbiting. People just think, oh, somebody's just slagging us off. But there's some really bad altercations going on between groups.
Oh yeah, I mean it's even as bad. I know of some groups that have been, a public location, and another group has actually turned up to confront them in the middle of the night. Some groups, I mean, some of our work we take under 18s. We have a 13 to 18s group. We were out one night with that group, for instance, and there's another group that was ticked off, let's say, that maybe had a beef with us that didn't turn up. It wouldn't be very nice. And we do take the 13 or 18-year-olds out till about 11 at night sometimes. Photography. We don't really do, as I say, because we're scientific, it's not a case of that we've got teenagers on a Ouija board. But that, I mean, a lot of things that we've done have been controversial, like the 13 to 18s groups. So there are other groups, not necessarily in our area, but just generally in the UK, that haven't agreed with that. They haven't thought about why we're doing it.
Oh, no.
They've just immediately said it's wrong, it's unethical, they shouldn't be doing it. And the reason we've been doing it is because we don't think that the paranormal should be viewed as something evil and something cloak and dagger and mysterious. It shouldn't be like that, because I think at some point in everyone's life they all experience something paranormal. Somebody will, or you'll know somebody who's experienced something paranormal. And it happens to so many people, doesn't it? That I think it's worth educating. Anyone that's interested in it, this is really experience. And we've got quite a large group of 13 to 18s now, teenagers. And it's mainly photography. We show them how to understand what pictures they've taken and how they're not paranormal, as opposed to telling them that everything they've taken is paranormal. Do you see what I mean? It's been quite controversial. Lots of things that other groups do. There's a new group that have live webcams. People are saying that's very controversial because somebody could keel over and die live on webcam. But people can die in the street. And you can't stop people from dying in the street. Do you see what I mean?
So you're taking 13 to 18-year-olds in the evening until 11 o'clock roughly.
They have their own group. If their parents are our members, then we do allow them one per member, one teenager per member, to come on other events, overnight events, maybe till 2. Other than that, they have a separate group that usually runs from 8 till 11, and we go out once a month with them.
Do you find it hard taking 13 to 18-year-olds, or
very good.
Are there a high volume of interest where that's concerned?
Very interested, very serious. I would say they're probably more serious than some of the adult groups that we've taken, some of the public groups. Very dedicated, very serious. They've got no preconception about what's going to happen. You tell them, you explain what let's just say we've taken a photo and there's something interesting. You'll explain what you think it is, the shutter speed, whatever that's affected it.
So it's more of a technical workshop type thing.
Absolutely, it's all the hands-on stuff. What we're getting them to review rather than take them on the field straight away. Them reviewing our evidence, so they've got an idea of what goes on. And what experiments and that kind of thing that we are going to do. They finally do come out with us.
Right, but they do the experiment. They do the experiments with the Ouija board and that.
No, we don't allow them to do that. They're allowed to watch. Generally, have them recording what's going on. Normally we only do things like a Ouija board if we take members of the public that request that we use a Ouija board. And then we do a Ouija board, and then we try and educate the public about automatism and that kind of the different things. Not just spirit activity that's occurring on the board. Some of it obviously is human activity that's occurring. Try and educate people at our events rather than just having them coming on a ghost hunt. Right.
So somebody's just said, why only 13s? Why only from 13? Why not younger? I'm going to let you answer that one.
I'm really not sure. I think it was more of a group decision. There was a lot of us that had teenage children. My daughter's 14. A number of members had teenage children. And I think it was sort of a decision that 13, a lot of it, for instance, some of the, like Facebook, they're allowed on at 13, and there's groups, forum groups that are 13-year-old. I think we thought that would be more appropriate. Because they'll be able to keep in touch with us. A lot of the forums now, when you build a forum, they can't go on the discussion forums until they're 13.
Does it put your insurance up at all? Put your premium up?
No, we can take, on our insurance, we can take anyone of any age.
Right.
From 0. We could take a baby if we wanted to. Not that we're about to, but we could. So that's really good. But I think really the 13-year-old was, mainly because that's what we felt was a good age, I think. We didn't want to go much younger than that, really. We wanted them to be in secondary school, well into secondary school before they came, I think. We do tend to have more girls join than boys. It tends to be girls that have more of an interest in it. But they are very good.
Yeah, yeah. So I think under 13s would be too young, really, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean,
how do you feel?
Nobody's pulled us up for it. I mean, a lot of people think under 18 is too young.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel, just out of curiosity, if they were being targeted by a bad spirit, say?
Yes.
Due to being open... 2 seconds. That jumped up there. Due to being open... Somebody's asking a question. Due to being open... being inexperienced, also their hormonal problems, putting out more energy, etc. Yeah. How would you cope with this?
It's really easy. The thing is, in our team, we believe that in order to get a negative, so for instance, to get a negative spirit, you need to ask negative questions. If we don't ask any negative questions, we will never know if there is a negative energy there.
Right.
Don't ask anything negative, it's as simple as that.
Right, okay.
So that never happens to us. No one ever feels threatened, and nobody ever feels negative.
Yeah.
Because we constantly will ask positive questions, and that is the way around it. And we don't ask for anything negative. We'd never ask if anyone wanted us to leave or meant us any harm. We don't ask.
Right, right. So it's basically more the scientific side of an investigation as opposed to the spiritual side.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So basically you're just showing them about the experiments and how you would do it, but not exactly calling out or anything?
No, it's only the adults that will call out. We don't allow the teenager to do that at all.
Right, okay.
We do that ourselves. We do the calling out and everything. And again, if things were to get a little bit high in energy, they're generally only recording what's happening anyway. Sometimes they'll be checking the video cameras. What they do, they're very hands-on. They're not sitting there.
No.
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
It's busy. They're doing their recording. They're checking the cameras. They're taking the temperature. Do you see what I mean? So they're actually busying around like your little scientists, if you like. They're your little reporters.
That's right. I see. So, okay. And as I say, are you sorting out your animosity situation? Is it being...
I think so. I think so. We tend to ignore what's going on.
It's the best way, really, at times, isn't it?
In the head, yeah. The thing is...
Hopefully they get bored.
The only way that we're going to stop it is if we stop what we're doing.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that.
No.
So we're just going to keep going full steam ahead. And, the problem is with people that are so spiteful is eventually they'll self-destruct.
Yeah, this is it.
And no one wants to be sort of, I wouldn't want to be in a group that was very spiteful like that. So.
No.
And we are attracting some fantastic members because of that. It's not like we've ended up with a small group, because that's big now. We've got, I think, 37 members, so it's gone, really, really well.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
And with the have you united with somebody else to get Bomber, or you just changed it a bit?
No, well, we've allowed people to join from slightly further afield.
Yeah.
So they're allowed to join now from Nottingham. So we allow people to join. Where we live in Louth, in Lincolnshire, we say that if you live around about an hour to an hour and a half away, then we're quite happy to accept you. And that's meant that we're covering the entire area of what would be Bomber County. And we thought that was an appropriate name because we're covering that whole area. But because of, when you think of Bomber County, think of Lincolnshire. I just think it was a nice association for us.
Yeah.
Because there are a number of groups where we live, I think there's 4 now, that are using the word Louth, our town name, in their group name. So, nationally it will separate us slightly when we're booking and things like that.
Right.
But, we won't be so confused then.
Yeah, yeah. So, well... thanks for being on the phone anyway, Kerry, and as I say, you've just relaunched as recently as Bomber.
We have.
And would you like to give us your website, my love?
Yeah, it's www.bombercounty Paranormal, I think.
Yeah.
.uk.
Right.
If anyone wants to get us, we've got a shortened down version that we are still using, and that's www.louthparanormal.com.
Right, okay, my love. Well, I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope you don't get too much animosity thrown at you.
No.
Okay, and keep up the good work, and hopefully I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you ever so much.
Cheers, Kerry. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, there you have it. Another concept of the way a group works, and what we're going to do is, I think there's a certain gentleman on the chat room who might like to give his 2 penn'orth, and before I talk to Ian, and if he does, then I'm half expecting the phone to ring any minute. So because being a medium himself, he didn't look as though he was quite happy with that, so it'd be nice to know his opinions on that one. And he seemed very vocal during the chat room, and if he wants to ring up and give us 5 minutes to tell us about his opinions on the way that conversation went about the children, I'm more than willing to put him on the air and let him give his opinions. So Neil, if you want to give us a call, or do you want me to ring you? One or t'other. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Why does my phone say 8:27 p.m? Does that mean I've only just started? Ring me. Right. Oh dear. Should I ring him?
That's all part of the show.
Right, okay. Is Neil going to keep the paranormal friendly?
I'm sure he is.
Okay, we've got the phone ringing, and Neil is now on the air, or he will be in a minute.
Hello, my name's Neil, and I'm keeping the paranormal friendly.
Please do not swear, you are live on the air. Oh, I'm a poet and don't know it.
How is everybody?
Oh, yes, we're fine. Steve's dying in the corner.
Yeah, it sounds it, yeah. He needs to get some Corvonia.
No, he's been given some tablets. He's got a chest infection, apparently.
Oh, that's not good, Steve.
No, it's not. So,
no, that's not good at all.
So he's suffering at the moment, bless him.
Has he asked the question that it might be something to do with his solar plexus?
It might have something to do with his solar plexus. Right, we thought it was something to do with his rhinitis, but you know. So basically, right, Kerry's now in the chat room, so she can answer your questions.
Okay.
All right. So as a medium, you're not very. You wasn't very agreeable to some of the things she said.
Well, taking teenagers 13 to 16 is a big no-no. I mean, my guide, and we've talked about this many times, there's a certain, well, put it this way, there's a list as long as my arm why you don't take under 16-year-olds in an environment like that. I mean, I spent 4 years with the Church of England, as you know, doing exorcism work, and to be honest, it's not a pretty sight, you know,
right.
and you know, okay, Ian mentioned there that risks are to be taken. You do not put any risks on children whatsoever.
Yeah, but she did say that they don't do the spiritual side of it. They only do, like, the photography and all this, that and the other. Kerry is still in the chat room now, and she will answer or ask any questions or whatever. But, you know, but she said it's more the techie stuff that they do, if there's any calling out to be.
What I'm trying to say, they're still in the environment, and there's adults calling out, and you're still around, you know, that area where spirits are going to be intrigued. Now, you know, one thing you've got to remember is children under the age of 16 are very susceptible to spirit. And if you get a bad spirit, they would target somebody that would be very open, very unexperienced, you know, and somebody that would be out of control due to hormones. You know, there's a list as long as my arm. I can carry on. You know, they would be targeted by bad spirits. You know, some people call them demons, some people call them, you know, other things. But what I'm trying to say is these things can cause loads and loads of problems. You know, they can start getting depression, anxiety, mood swings. You know, and to put that onto a child, you know, when they don't need to go through that.
Right, can I put a scenario onto you though, Neil?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Right, let's just say, for instance, I don't know, Gainsborough Old Hall, yeah? It's a bowling hall, you know bowling hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, it's potentially supposed to be full of spirits, yeah, allegedly, haunted, yeah, right.
Allegedly, yeah.
And people go there, yeah, During the day they visit it and all this, that and the other, and
Yeah.
you know, there can, just because it's during the day, there can be a lot of energies. And now if children go there, like schools and stuff like that, and run around there and they show off their energies and what have you, can they not be attracted by then?
Right. What the scenario is, it's a completely different scenario. If you're going on an investigation, you're opening yourself up. You're opening yourself up as a group. You're trying to attract spirit. You're trying to get phenomena, you know, and spirit are open to that, you know.
Yeah.
And spirituality at the moment is going through a great big swing, you know, and things are getting stepped up a gear. You know, there's a lot of sort of new energies that are coming in now. So you're putting them in a completely different scenario. You know, you're calling out to spirit to come to you, or near you. You know, so you're drawing spirit to you.
Right. So there's a difference. So if you're going visiting, you're not drawing them to you, but when you're doing
let's go back to the Ouija board scenario, okay?
Right.
A lot of the exorcisms that I carried out are people at the age of 13 and 14 who have been on the Ouija board, okay, and have attracted bad spirit.
Right, so you're saying this could potentially think, a couple of kids think, oh, let's give it a try ourselves. Could do.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, they're in the scenario there.
Yeah.
Where okay, I mean, I can say, you know, my guide, my guide's very, very against this, but this is my opinion, you know. I'm not there to put rules in place, which I wouldn't, but it's my opinion and it's the rules that I do. You know,
well,
and I'm very strict in
wouldn't they have protection around them or anything? Would people put protection around them?
It depends on what protection, depends on who's put the protection. You know, like I say, there's a list as long as my arm that I could go through.
If the controls were there, would it be feasible?
I still wouldn't know. No way.
On your personal opinion, you wouldn't?
No, not a chance.
Right.
You know, and it's unfair, really. I mean, okay, the teenagers could go along and they'd be very excited, you know, oh, this is great, you know, and I can do this as a hobby, or it's something new. What they don't understand is what results they're getting from that, you know. And so who's to say 6 months down the line that they're not stuck in a room on their own in depression or anxiety or something, you know, because it's being put on them by something that they took away with them.
Sue64 said it could make them more curious, that when they start dabbling on their own. Eric said they could do an invest and then go out thinking they're good enough to go further, i.e. Ouija balls. You know,
well, it's a subject, you know, I do want to speak about at a later date.
Yeah.
Encouraging gifted children, you know, to move on and grow. But to put them in that scenario is not. It's a no-no. I'm sorry, but in my book, my guide is agreeing with me. It's a no-no, you know, and it's just never done.
Yeah.
You know, you can go. I mean, I don't want to go down this route, but you can go to any spiritualist church. They will not deal with people under the age of 18. You know, because they have that strict guideline in place.
Yeah. You know? Well, this is it. Be clear on the boundaries and the right controlled environment.
Yeah, there's 3 stages of spirituality, okay?
Yeah.
It usually starts with a child who... It can start as a 2-year-old, okay?
Yeah.
So between the ages of 2 to 7 is when you're fully open and you're fully aware and you're fully open to spirit as a child, okay? It then decreases until the age of 13 when you start getting hormonal, when the hormones come in place. That then stays around until you're around 16, it starts decreasing again, and then bang, at the age of 18 to 19, up until the age of 21, it's heightened again. Okay, and they're the 3 stages that you have to sort of go with, okay?
Now, let's say we've got some teenagers, and they're interested enough to get involved with this kind of thing. This is what Ian's asking. And they're likely to do it to themselves anyway, you know. So wouldn't it be better if they're taught in a controlled environment? You know, give them an idea of what it's like without the spiritual side of it.
What they should be taught, firstly, is how to do it properly. And secondly, is to never do it until they are at an age where they should be doing it.
Yeah.
Because the first thing that they should be taught is the signs to look out for is when they've got introduced to a bad spirit.
So what you're saying is you agree with the fact that they're taught more or less the technical side of it, and this is how it works, blah blah blah. But not to have adults there calling out for spirit at the same time.
I think they should be taught the dangers of it first.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And that is the big key. You know, the amount of exorcism. I mean, I've done probably way over 500 exorcisms in my past time. You know, and as you know, we might have another one on Saturday coming up.
Yeah.
You know, and the first sign of you know, an attached spirit is depression, a depressive state, and the child is made ill. You know, it's an illness that the child gets, and it's usually a psychiatric illness. You know, and that's usually the first sign that you have to deal with. You know.
Yeah. So basically, what I think would be better is to teach them respect and how to work. Basically, as Ian said, remove the mediumship side of it until they're older, and just tell them basic. This is how you do an investigation, but verbally, not literally.
Do
you know what I mean? Yeah, not actually doing it.
I mean, I'm fairly flexible.
What do you call it? Methodal. You know what I mean? Theory and, you know.
Yeah, theory
and actual.
Fine. Theory is absolutely fine, but they taught the dangers first.
Pardon?
They should be taught the dangers of it first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Teach them in theory, but not in practical.
I don't believe for one moment that somebody under the age of 18 are able to respect spirit in the way that somebody over the age of 18 would respect it.
Yeah,
okay? And that's with knowledge. That's not just me saying that. That's my past knowledge and experience.
Yeah, yeah. I think more the theory side of it, to be honest with you, and then the practical side when they're old enough. Take the mediumship out of it.
I mean, children have got to grow. They've got to be nurtured.
Yeah.
And that's another key name. Another key word is nurtured. They've got to be nurtured into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Not just a case of.
You know, because obviously these kids, they watch Most Haunted and stuff like that. But if they're taught how it's supposed to be done in a theory, as I say, you know, like in a lesson, not in a practical. This is what you do.
Yeah.
This is, you know, and this happens and that happens, you know. But that would be better, you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, it's like circles. You know, I mean, I teach in circles, as you know, and I wouldn't allow anybody under the age of 16 to sit in a circle. You know, it's a no-no. It's an absolute no-no. You know, and if you do, you just open a whole box of wrongness.
Yeah. Mind you, like Ian says, some adults don't even know how to do it.
Well, at the end of the day, it's people like me who have to go out and sort the problem out when it all goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen it so many times, it's unreal. You know, and stuff that I've had to go out and sort out, it's wrong.
Right, Kerry's come on and she said she don't agree with any of these comments. Yeah. We don't work spiritually, she said.
She mentioned the Ouija board.
So no, she said they don't use the Ouija board. She was on about something else where the Ouija board was concerned. She was on about in general, but she said paranormal does not mean spirit. She says. So I don't know whether you're seeing that on the chat room.
No, I'm not looking at it, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, what is paranormal? You know, it's a big bowl of contention, really, isn't it?
Right. So, but anyways, people have different opinions. People do it all differently, even though we're looking for the same thing.
All I'm trying to say is, if you put somebody under the age of 16 in that scenario, and I don't care whether it's technical, spiritual, whatever, you're still opening a box of wrongness.
Yeah.
Even if it's a technical way, you're still approaching it to encourage spirit to come through, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for evidence. You know, what's the point in going in there and saying, right, we'll go in there with technical stuff, we'll set a camera up, and nobody calls out?
Right. Okay. Well, everybody's got their own opinion.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
And
I'm
that's
not
what it's all
falling out
about.
with anybody, but I'm just giving my opinion.
Yeah.
And
no, that's fine.
You know, I've been doing this for many years now. You know.
Okay. So, well, I'll leave you back to the chat room, and you can catch up with all the comments.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, and we'll do the paranormal events for you, and then we'll have Ian on the line. Okay, so I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Sue.
Bye.
Bye all. Bye.
So we're going to go to paranormaleventsforyou.com. Thank you. Fed up of wading through the activities and events that other advertisers include? Find just what you're looking for at paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory.
On the 25th of May, there's a charity psychic demonstration and mini investigation at Morecambe Winter Gardens, Morecambe, and that's with Mr. Neil Munley, who was with us live in the hub on the 11th of April. On the 2nd of the 6th, UK Shadow Seekers are off to the Masonic Lodge in Liverpool. On the 9th of the 6th, UK Mystic Knights are off to Drakelow Tunnels in Kidderminster. Also on the 9th of the 6th, Night Vision Paranormal are on to Landguard Fort in Felixstowe.
Check out the one-stop paranormal directory for more investigations and events, available now. Paranormaleventsforyou.com also offers banner advertising for only £10 per year. See our website for more details. Paranormaleventsforyou.com, your one-stop paranormal directory. Yeah, that was the paranormal events for you, and my computer decided to not respond. So hopefully you heard all that. The phone is ringing.
Ian.
Hello, Ian. Hang up a second. You can say that again in a minute. Right, go on then.
My name is Ian Lawrence and I am attempting very strongly to keep the paranormal very friendly. Did you like that?
Yes, very good indeed. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. How are you?
Not too bad. Miss Spooky Radio's chat room's just gone AWOL, but never mind.
Alright, I've just taken my headset off so that I don't get it coming back at me about 5 times.
Yeah, that's what I've just done.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I just wanted to phone in and let people know what's happening with the battlefield situation.
Yes, that's what I'm listening for.
Right.
Before we go any further...
Go on.
Right, okay. Let me just explain. Paul Reed, who started up Spooky Radio with Ian, as far as I know, have planned to do Battlefield Paranormal, which certain groups have been invited on. So can you just tell us briefly about it before you go into where you are up to?
Right, what happened was me and Paul came up with the idea for a very, very amusing conversation. It was too dirty to talk about, what Paul was like, he was a funny man. And we ended up coming to the idea of doing something which would draw everybody together. And he had an interest very strongly in military, and I had a very strong interest obviously in the paranormal as he did, but I do the technical thing, and he did the sort of spiritual thing, but also had an interest in technical investigation as well. So what we thought we'd do is go away ourselves and then come up with this idea, and Battlefield Paranormal came to light. So a joint thing, but I gave it Paul because at the time I had a lot of events on. So Paul went off with it and I made it his baby, and I made it Paul Reed's Battlefield Paranormal, but he changed the poster and overran me because he didn't want his name on it because he thought that it was a little bit too big-headed. So that's what happened there. But the problem was I let Paul get into it, and he got some bits and bobs. He got the burger van sorted out, and he spoke to somebody from the Battlefield Trust, and that's about as far as it went. He knew where it was, and he was looking into the background and everything and sorting out the advertising, but then it became too poorly to do it, and sort of it was a slow process up to the point of finding out how poorly it was. So I'd left it with him up to that point, and I said to him, do you want me to help you out and stuff? And so I started slowly getting involved. Now, what happened from that point was, I then, after Paul had passed, I said that, while Paul was really ill, I said, look, I'm going to take this on board, I'm going to run this, I'm going to put it in your name, and we're doing this and other. Well, when Paul passed from us, I continued then with extra steam, because obviously I wasn't then doing it on my own. And to find out that the Battlefield Trust pass the information on to the Archaeological Society because they couldn't do anything with it. And then I spoke to the Archaeological Society this morning, who said they wanted nothing to do with it whatsoever. They had no interest, and it wasn't what they wanted to do. So from there, I'm basically on my own trying to push this. I've spoken to 4 farmers, one guy who I've got to do with the camping, and then I've also got another chap who's a really nice guy who says he's going to make sure that it goes on, because I sort of came cap in hand to all these people. He's next to a neighbour who I've spoken to, but the second farmer's already spoken to him as well, so he's got him on board. But there's another farmer who owns land on the outsides of the battlefield, who's been a real pain, and she's doing everything she can to try and stop this happening, basically, or to control it herself entirely. So what I'm doing, I'm running roughshed straight through her, and running it anyway. And the guy from the I can't mention names obviously, but the first farmer I spoke to, the nice chap, I've turned around and said, look, this is happening anyway. He says she obviously doesn't know what she's doing, so we're going to we've got a responsibility to organise things on all this land because we don't have time. He says, but she's obviously like gone a little bit head crazy, so we're taking that responsibility away from her. So now I'm going to be going up, this is where we get to where we are now, where I'm going to be going up to the battlefield again after going up the first time to run round in the wagon with the farmer to work out the run of the battlefield, where I can put people, how I can make it strategic, and how I can run a proper, in-depth technical investigation working in conjunction with mediumship, which has always been my bugbear. I've always wanted to get mediumship working with technical investigation, and from there I can build an enormous investigation which comprises mediumship with technical investigation, media, experiential and environmental, as well as sorting out the burger van where people are parking, the camping where we can put a marquee and everything. So that's all going to be put in place when we go through. So that's where we are at the moment. I'm quite sure when the lady finds out that we're doing this without her, she'll not be very pleased, but there's nothing she can do about it.
Well, this is it. So hopefully all well and good.
Yeah, it should be. I'm a very determined person.
So at the moment we're still on for July the 1st.
Yes.
Is that a definite now?
Yes, that's what happened.
Because I've been holding back on my tickets for these people, even though they haven't paid. But I've been holding back on sending them the information. Right.
This obviously the one for the battlefield itself is obviously free. Everybody turns up for that, completely free. That's going to be on the 1st of July, and that's a Sunday, and that's what they've got to pay for there is obviously the burgers and the camping.
Right.
So it's like, I think the one you're getting confused with is the one that I'm running on the weekend, which is in Derbyshire, which is £35 a ticket, and that's Keep the Paranormal Friendly, to get everybody together and organise that, which is going to be something slightly different. So there are no tickets as such, no ticket sales. It's all completely free for the Battlefield Paranormal, but I'm keeping the group numbers down in order to be able to keep...
Yeah, I'm doing tickets, but it's not that they're paying for them. It's just so that when they arrive, I know that they're actually the ones that have actually booked onto it.
I understand that entirely.
Now, as I say, you've touched on the fact that you're doing one in Derbyshire.
Yes, I'll go into that. It's not connected to this one, but it is in a way, and that it is Keep the Paranormal Friendly. And it's after I came back, to be honest, I came back from Paul's funeral, and I thought to myself, well, I've got this weekend that went on, and I had to cancel it because I'd got I think it was 19 tickets sold, and then suddenly I got 11 tickets pulled out because people decided they were going somewhere else. So that is a big thing as well. It's a full weekend. It's a Friday. It's the 13th to the 13th to 15th of July. And it's all about lots and lots of people going up, having a good time. Instead of putting a rota or definite things in place, I'm getting lots of people involved in mediumship and technical investigation to come up and pick what they want to do when they get there. So it's a bit like a relaxing weekend.
Yeah.
It's full of paranormal stuff. I will be doing a ghost walk in Castleton. I'll be taking people to all the mass graves. I'll be taking them to Winnett's Pass, which is haunted. They can go to Blue John Cavern, the place called the Devil's Horse, which was named by the Queen, which is the biggest cave entrance in Europe. And they can also go to, like I say, up onto top of Mam Tor, then going to Edel. All different places. But the only things that I'm going to put in place is a talk by myself about technical investigation research, which will incorporate how I use the van and why I use it, the placebo stuff and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can stay behind. If not, you can go off and do something else. People were stopping in camping barns, £35 a ticket. What I'm doing with that is it's a non-profit. It's £28 per person for a sleepover in the camping barn. Any money that's left over from the £35 is going towards coffee, tea, sugar and electric. And anything left out after that will be going to Macmillan nurses who looked after Paul before he died. So it's basically covering its costs. I'm even paying for a ticket. I'm running it, organising it, but I'm taking people on all this stuff, but I'm still paying for my own ticket. John Conway's coming along with us. He's bringing some people. The problem is there's only 3 tickets left for that, so I think everybody else has sorted.
Yeah.
If people are interested, I can run another one later. It's literally a case of booking the accommodation. What I'm fighting for, as you know yourself, is to get people working together, stop this animosity. There shouldn't be anything. If we're looking for something beyond ourselves, it's something that we all are. We may all well be part of one big universal anomaly, so we should be working together, and that's what I'm working towards. The proof through psychic ability and mediumship, and also the proof through atomic interaction and documentation, and that's what I'm fighting for, and I will keep doing that.
Well, that's
Not
good.
Too fast, am I?
It's what Paul wanted, really, wasn't it? And
it is.
We met up a bit too late because, as I say, we've been keeping the Paranormal friendly since 2007, and we've only really met Paul this year, which is a bit of a a shame, really, because he was a lovely bloke. You know, from what we knew of him.
Yeah.
And as I say, because if we'd have met up beforehand, we probably could have done more. You know, with this line of direction, which is what we need to do, really. As you say, you know, you're doing it, you know, we're doing it, and we need to really sort something out. Now you've turned around, you've got this van which you keep emptying and putting back again.
No, the reason I emptied it and put it back together was when I did it initially, I set it up so that I could incorporate events into it, where people could sit inside the van and experience what I was doing. So I could point things out: why I do this, why I do that, what it's looking at, why it's doing it, explain the placebo thing about it, and all that kind of business. But what it is now, I've removed that because I don't do those kind of events anymore. The only thing I'm going to be running is private training courses for people who are interested in advanced media, experiential and environmental studies, in order to be able to put together a scientific model in order to be able to back up the findings. If people want to do that, I can do that for them. Obviously I've got to charge for doing that because it takes a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
For a full weekend, they can take up to 2 weeks after to and do all the analysis and prepare all the findings and produce the video and all sorts of stuff. So I don't have to charge for that because it's a lot of time. But at the moment, the van's put together so that one person can watch all the monitors. Look, I've got an H2 dictaphone also, which is outside, which runs in conjunction with another camera, which is watching that dictaphone, so I can actually see what is happening on the dictaphone, as well as watching it on wave file, as well as being able to share that live straight over the internet via live stream. And I'm saying with all the other cameras, and I can talk to them in real time on the webcam, or I can switch it over so they're looking into the environment, and I can be explaining what is actually happening in the environment over the live stream as well. So it's fully interactive, but it can be run by one person in the van and one person outside on the sensor array. Should I explain the sensor array quickly?
Yes, please.
People don't understand. The sensor array is for environmental factors. It basically looks at the fluctuations and environmental factors during we don't call them investigations, they're called observations. So that if something does happen, we can check the ion count, the electromagnetic energy, the temperature, humidity, and lots of other different variables to find out if there is some kind of reaction at any level. And we find that the electromagnetic energy does seem to have some kind of bearing with the ion count. There's something called plasma, whereas ions are supercharged by electromagnetic energy, which causes these white plumes that people see in some environments, and we see these changes in fluctuation at times like that. So that's just one example of what we look for. So that's what the van does. We're out of the environment, apart from one chap doing that job, the environmental work inside. And obviously, while he's in there, he's also sensing things, and he's got his own sense of himself, and he would write not only the paperwork for the sensor array, but he would also be writing another one for experiential, in case he experienced something personally at a time when we had fluctuations. It is in depth, and I could rattle on all night about this, and that's why I'm going to be running them courses.
That's good. So when you come in, you can rattle on for us.
I will. I'll bring some gear in when I come in. I'll fetch some stuff in.
Yes.
Show the equipment, and I'll show the relevance of the equipment in conjunction with the other equipment, because it's all about frequencies, and all the different things that we're looking at are just further up the scale. And I'll explain further about the placebo effect of being outside the environment, looking in, not interacting with it, not asking questions, just watching it, in order to be able to find out if we're getting anything. I'll go into all that if we're good.
So what's happening with Spooky Radio anyway? Are we getting people on like Paul Wanted? Are you still doing your bit?
I've not been running it at the moment. I'm absolutely up to my eyeballs in it, to be perfectly honest, with everything else I've had to do. I've got these other events coming up, so I'll put it on hold just for now, but as soon as things settle down, I'll kick it back in. But I'm going to be, I'll be doing it from a technical perspective from that point. We'll be looking at it. But obviously, if mediums wanted to come in, and we can sort of look at the crossover from a mediumship point of view in conjunction with technical investigation.
Right, okie dokie, because as I say, you know, there's many places for people to come in and do their own radio show, isn't there, which is what Paul wanted.
That's right, and if anybody wants to get involved in this, then they can let me know, and we can see if we can get them on board and run some stuff their own.
Oh, this is it. So, so keep up the good work. Looking forward to Battlefield.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's going to be so low profile. All these people all standing around in different specific areas where I know there's some things have happened, and I can see then on the timelines, there's these massive timelines, whenever it adds all the information in, I can look at the fluctuations of energy as it moves around the area, around the environment. It's going to be really clever. Really good. And I'll be producing a video of it as well, so people will get to see the video.
Yeah, what's happening with that, because they recorded, didn't they, for certain groups?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's happening with that now. I've been trying to get in contact with Paranormal TV, but he's not coming back to us.
Right.
King's phoned him also, and he's actually had no feedback from him either. I think I think it's Paranormal Magazine, is it? I think they're still on board.
Right.
I've also got Richard Felix said he was coming, so I've got to get back in conjunction with that.
Okay.
And some other people.
Right.
So it's all up in the air at the moment. I'm working this at different levels.
Yeah.
Working with the farmers, working the investigation, trying to work out how I can run the analysis, what I can put in place to make it environmentally friendly. So, in other words, what I can look for without picking up on other things which are going to be sort of have a bearing on it. So there's no point putting equipment up for breeze movement if you've got a wind blowing over the field. So I've got that to deal with, as well as obviously the farmers, about the burger van, the toilets which we've already got, where do I put them? So there's lots going on, so it's all good.
Kat just said that she's gutted because it clashes with the Stone Roses gig. Does that mean you're not coming to Battlefield, Catherine? Because you said you were.
Well, I mean, these teams who are coming along, well, I've got the names down. What I'm going to do is I've put feelers out on the internet to find out which teams are still coming, and I've had some feedback, and I've had lists of groups that were supposed to be coming. I think the way it's going to work is I've got groups who are wanting to come, but I can't allow any more. When it comes up to about 1 or 2 weeks prior to the battlefield, I think what I do is I'm going to put on the internet again, on Facebook and such like, oh, he's coming. I want you to write your names down now if you're coming, because if your name don't go down within this next 2 weeks, I'll not be expecting you.
Right.
Because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I'm up for that. And then they just like lose interest and don't turn up. Well, that's places other people could be taking, so that's what I'm going to do.
Right, I see. Okie dokie. So, as I say, I just got a... Steph thought that you said River Phoenix was coming. No, that was Richard Felix, Steph, not River Phoenix. Okay, so anyway, keep up the good work, as I said.
All I can ask of people when they come along is take it seriously. No running around, no going off into places you shouldn't be, because there is a trespass situation in place. Right. And take it seriously and write down things seriously, and then we'll have a really good investigation. If people start shouting and jumping up and down and making a lot of noise, all it's going to do is spoil all the media for everybody else.
This is it, yeah. Okie dokie. Well, thanks a lot, Ian, and I'll hopefully speak to you again soon.
You certainly will.
All right, take care, my darling.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Well, that was Ian Lawrence. He's doing his best to keep the Battlefield Paranormal going after we sadly lost Paul, and he's doing a bloody good job, to be honest with you. We've had a lot of discussion on the chat room whilst we were doing that interview with Kerry and the rest of them, and it's nice that people do have healthy discussions, and obviously not not aggressive, which, as I say, at the end of the day, everyone has got an opinion about way things work and about the way things go. So I'm hoping that nobody took things the wrong way, and as Neil said, it wasn't to fall out with anybody. So but healthy discussion is good. And I found a quote recently which sums everything up really, that an educated and honest approach to investigating should be the first steps in finding answers in a field that has so many questions left to answer, to ask. To understand what lies beyond what we see, we have to first know what it is that we are seeing. So yes, no night, Steph. So basically, we've had a good night, I think. Thank you to Wendy for coming on earlier on and talking to us about her group. Although not a public one, she's only a private group. That's Southern Paranormal. And also to Kerry, Kerry Cox from Bomber County Paranormal. She's been talking to us about her group and about the way she works and the animosity she's been getting, which is another reason why we've been doing this. And Ian, obviously, for telling us about his involvement with keeping the paranormal friendly and what he's been doing. And just to have a look through, thank you to Sue Nally for joining us tonight and getting involved in the chat room. Thank you for Kat for coming on. Bless her. Nice to see her on the chat room again. I hope she said she was coming next week. I don't know what you said because I know you put it on the website that you were coming. So please verify that you are coming next Saturday, Kat. Yes to Morecambe. Yes to Liverpool, Kat. My throat's gone. So let's see who else we got. Darren Walsh from CPI. Thank you for joining us, Darren. Please come back next week.
And Sparks is his partner in crime.
Yes, and Sparks. Please spread the word around. So as I say, have a look on the KTPF. Join that and get involved and become an affiliated member, if you will. Any events that you've got going, go to paranormaleventsforyou.com, put them on, and we'll put them out here. Don't forget, we do record our programs, our shows every Wednesday, and we will be putting them on to the live stream /KTPF. That's livestream.com. So if anyone's missed the show or would like to listen to it again, they can always go there to the KTPF Paranormal Community Channel at livestream, www.livestream.com /KTPF. As I said, if you have an event that you would like to let us know about, a charity event or anything like that to advertise, then just email me, Sue at admin@ktpf.co.uk. Okay, and if you're local, why don't you pop in and join us and become a co-host for the evening on a Wednesday night. You can do that if you want. Come in and talk to us, and then people can ring you and ask you questions. And you can ask our guest questions as well. Kerry from Louth Paranormal, I hope you've enjoyed being on the show and talking to us. We've enjoyed having you. And I'm just checking through some of your... That is really... isn't it? Right. Okay, so, as I say... hope everyone's enjoyed the show this evening. You can hear, as I say, you can hear everything back from since we started. Kerry's still going on with this conversation in the chat room, so if you want to carry on with that, that's not a problem. Okay, so we're going to leave you now. Good night, everybody. As I say, we'll be back next week, 8 o'clock, with Wigan Paranormal, Nicola, and I think Sarah's coming along. And last time I heard, she was bringing cake. So, thank you for listening to the KTPF Community Show. And remember, Today, tomorrow, and every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We'll be here to keep the paranormal friendly. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, keep it friendly, guys.
You're listening to the all-new KTPF show, live on Spooky Radio, keeping the paranormal friendly, where membership is just a smiling face.
Hi, I'm Neil Munley, and I'm proud to be keeping the paranormal friendly.